Hey folks, thanks for sticking it out to the end. Really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed the conference so far. I know I have. A lot of times at this conference, I don't get to attend. Well, you certainly don't get to attend all the sessions when there's like 3 or 4 or 5 of them competing. I love this format where I'm forced to attend all the sessions, whether I think they're going to be interesting to me or not. I inevitably learn something, and always learn more than I expected to. I guess that's the whole point of the conference, though. I should realize that. So it's awfully it's good that the model that we've designed is working the way it's supposed to be. All right, let's get this started, and I'm going to share my screen. Let me think. I named this closing keynote plenary final dot 2221. Okay. Give it a moment for the slides to load. And there we go. All right. Like I said, thank you for coming. I appreciate your attention. I'm taking a leaf out of the book for this conference. I've enjoyed the fact that that there was a heavy constraint on all the presenters to limit their talk to 15 minutes. I don't think I can quite do 15. I've got a little bit more than that, but I'm going to be awfully close to that. So this won't be too long and boring, I hope, for you. I call this talk CALI's Magic Lamp. You'll see what I mean by that as I get into it. You know, in television or in movies or in popular culture, the magic lamp, you know, has all these, or the genie or the whatever, the wishes have all these tropes, you know, about how to beat it or how to get the most out of it. I want you right now to stick things into the chat, you know, and there are points along my talk where I will pull up the chat to see if you found the same ones that I did or the ones that I referenced. All right. So common wish tropes. What are the most common things that people wish for? All right. So the first thing I want to start with is CALI. CALI got started. Well, we were incorporated in '82. So technically, this is our 40th year, right? 82 to 90 to 2021, 40 years. And we got started with a simple idea, right? That we can automate some interactive instruction, the CALI lesson. And it's amazing that we're 40 years into that, and it's working pretty good for us, right? We've got over 1,200 lessons. They're interactive, self-paced, asynchronous. That means they're available 24/7. All the things you expect of something in internet culture, right? They're scored now for motivation, not scored for so much for formative assessment. I know some of you use them for that, and that's fine. And we've been adding learning objectives and mastery quizzes to all the lessons. And there's instructional design reasoning behind that. We want people to, you know, it's the rule of threes. You tell them what you're going to say, you say it, and then you ask them about what you just said and remind them what you said. We want them to recall the information from the lesson. We've been doing a lot of work on improving the findability of lessons because, you know, when you had a few lessons, it was like, I'll just go to the contracts and look at the 5 or 10. Now there's 1,200, there's 100 contracts lessons. And so we have to find ways that let people navigate to exactly what they're looking for. And that includes recommending for them once they finish a lesson, you know, well, if you like that lesson, maybe you would like these. We've always had sort of something that could say, well, if you did a contracts lesson, here's another contracts lesson, but we're looking at ways to be a little bit more sophisticated at that. And you'll see that on the website, you know, in the future. And that last comment, clonable, let me talk about that. because these bottom things are relatively new improvements that we've been working on. The pandemic has been tough for everybody, but I've read articles and I have evidence of my own staff, and to a much lesser extent of myself, that you can be productive, maybe even more productive, working from home because of all of the shorter commute, the ability to wear pajamas, all the silver linings for those of us who are privileged enough to have kept our jobs and who can work from home during this pandemic. But let me talk about Clonable. So this brings me to wish trope 1. The idea here is that you can take CALI lessons and then you can make more CALI lessons. In other words, we're not just publishing the content of the lessons, we're publishing the ability to make more lessons or to take existing lessons and tweak them or modify them or adjust them, as you see fit. So that fits the first trope, which is, if you wish, you should wish for more wishes. And I'm going to pop open chat, and that better be in the top 3 or something like that. Yep. First one I saw, wait, I got to scroll all the way to the top. Yep, more wishes, more wishes, more wishes, more wishes. Very good. Good job, folks. All right, so what do I mean by that? Wish for more wishes. We've been working on CALI Author Web, which is an authoring system. The old authoring system was written in Visual Basic 20 years ago. Is it that old? I hope it's not that old. It might be that old, and it has served us well. And our design, since even before CALI Author, was that the software that runs the lesson was separate from the text, the content that runs it, so that as we move forward writing new viewers, new ways of consuming or viewing the content, we don't have to recompile everything. We can just write a new viewer and move forward. So CALI Author Web is the latest and the last. No, it's not. I don't know. I just saw the session on VR, so we'll probably check out VR and start putting CALI lessons and make them interpersonally navigable. So with CALI Author Web, we've loaded all the lessons into there, and you can write. First of all, you can write your own. It takes some effort to learn. I won't lie to you. It's not, but it's no code. In no code, in the sense of you don't have to learn how to program, but you do have to learn about the capabilities and how to communicate through the medium of a computer-assisted lesson. You can also take an existing CALI lesson and start making changes to it. Add your own third voice commentary. Drop your own videos in. Make fun of the author. Have fun with that. But and for those of you who maybe this isn't important to you as instructors or to the students, but we built this so that our own internal workflow was more efficient. There's less sending lessons around to reviewers and getting them back from authors and trying to figure out who owns the canonical copy, right? We now know we now can manage everything from a single location on the web, and that's going to make us more efficient and hopefully less error prone and things. And that's a big deal for us because the major constraint that we run up against is staff time. Of course, with CALI Lessons, you can create a link so students can run the lessons, but faculty can also, create their own link to the lessons, and that opens the door to the faculty member being able to see the scores of the student. For those of you who have been to many CALI, conferences or seen me talk, I know this is old stuff, but 30 to 60, 50% of you are brand new, and I want to make sure you know of the things that we're doing. Lesson Link, I think, is a very powerful formative assessment capability built into lessons and the website. You get all sorts of statistics. You can sort by the student and see who's doing well or doing poorly as a potential follow-up. You can sort by the questions in the lesson. So if some things people are doing well on, it's all green, no worries. It's all red, I better follow up on that with the students. This is basic learning analytics. We're not getting into a massive amount of statistical analysis here. And I don't think that's necessary at that level. We're walking before we can run. And I want to get as many faculty on board with this because I think that's an improvement in their teaching. Probably the most underused feature in this ecology is what we call lesson live. And that is I could run a lesson. In other words, I could create a link. I could run a lesson as the instructor, and the students can also run the same lesson. And if they click on the lesson link button up there, then it takes them to the same place that the faculty member is at the front of the room or in their Zoom meeting. And the instructor can see the students answer the question. It's like an Insta poll built in, it's like Poll Anywhere built into each question on the lessons. It's in testing, we find sometimes people are not sure which button to push and things like that. And I get that, you know, the dashboardization interfaces have to be easy so you don't accidentally crash the plane or think that you're looking bad or something like that. We've written a version, sort of a less capable version of CALI Author. It doesn't have branching. It doesn't have a whole bunch of different question types. It's just multiple choice questions. We call that QuizWrite. There's more work to be done on the interface on that, but this is explicitly for formative assessment. It runs on the same ecology as the lesson, so you can lesson link to that. You can do lesson live sort of capabilities there, and we've filled the library, a shared library in QuizWrite, with a bunch of questions that we curated a little bit from existing CALI lessons. So you could start from an existing CALI lesson, make some adjustments or changes. I can't go far without saying that, you know, the key to all of this is our authors. This is not all of them. We've dealt with over 300 authors of our lessons, our books, and other things, and faculty, law librarians over the years, and they're vital. Our relationship with them is vital to the success of this whole project. There's some of the authors there's additional faculty on the board of directors, also on the editorial board that help us do reviews. You know, we do tons of reviews every year to keep the material up to date. And the fellowship model is another way that we interact with law faculty. And I want to go a little deeper on the fellowship model. The most recent fellowships that we're working on or soon to complete is the Law School Success Fellowship. They produced 35 lessons. I'm sorry, Laura, I'm covering your face there. Here, this is what I'll do. I'll drag myself over to there. You know, they've completed 35 lessons that are not on substantive doctrine areas of law. They're on learning how to learn the law, things that I think were vital and necessary. And at your school, if you're these are great lessons for students before they get to law school. So if you've got students who you've accepted or are close to being accepted, or they're going to come to your school this summer, go ahead, give them your auth code, and let them start studying how to study right away. If there was ever any question about like, well, can't give that to you because, you know, you're not here yet. It's like, nope, we want people to be using the law school success lessons. And for that matter, if they want to bop around and see the other lessons, they might be over their heads at that point, but let them do so. All right. The other fellowship that's in progress right now is a stellar bunch of law librarians who are revising the legal research lessons, and they're having too much fun. They meet once a month for 5 hours. I mean, they do other things besides this meeting, but they meet for 5 hours and chat and talk and work their way through issues on updating and revising the 75 plus legal research lessons that we have in our library. And I dropped in with my dog behind me just to say hi last time. So this leads me to my next trope, which is, you know, if I had a wish, you know, that wasn't about wishing for more wishes, it would be have lots of friends. And between our authors, the board members, the CALI folks who come, the people who come to this conference, the fellowships, we make friends of these people. We enjoy the human element to the very human element that is part of creating quality material, doing good work, you know, and not just being about, you know, making a buck or getting the job done. And that's why, it's one of the reasons why I truly love this job. Let's see, did anybody put friends? Oh, come on. Oh, that's a good one. Vengeance on enemies. Geez, what's wrong with you, Kate? All right. Oh, better metabolism. That's a good one. Reading minds. I should have thought of that one. Peace. Oh, no, nobody talked about friends. All right, I got you there. You know, maybe that's not so much of a trope as just a, you know, a good idea. All right. If you didn't know, we also crossed the threshold this last year. We have now over 100 podcasts. These the advice we give to the podcast stores is pretend a student has walked into your office on Friday at 4:55 and said, "Hey, could you explain blah to me?" And you figure you'll give them 10 minutes and get out of there. And so these are short 10 to 15-minute podcasts on very specific topics. You know, they're kind of punchy, and we're starting to see a lot. We're starting to get more and more of these, and I hope to add many more podcasts in the future. Other teaching modalities make sense, right? People want to choose how they consume or how they structure their own educational journey. Why should we stop them from that? You all know that well, maybe you don't know, we pay faculty to write casebooks and we give them away for free. They get downloaded quite a bit. We let them download the PDF and the ebook. But probably the most important thing is we let them download the Microsoft Word, the source of the book. And also you can buy, if paper is your preferred interface, get a very low cost, as low as we can make it, a low cost print version. Brand new book that came out fairly recently in Criminal Procedure by Ben Trachtenberg and Ann Alexander. Just wanted to highlight that before I moved on to what wish trope number 3 is. So wish trope number 3, because I was just talking about free books, and you know, with 50,000 downloads, if you were to multiply that by $200 a book, do the math, that's $1 million, right? So wish trope number 3 is I wish I had $1 million. You could justify the cost of your CALI membership with one medium-sized class adopting a free casebook from CALI. But remember, I said it's not about the money, it's about that Microsoft Word format. I want to enable law faculty to experiment with innovation. I want them to be able to mold the materials to how they want to be able to teach. I want the students to be able to say, I'm going to take this chapter and drop it in Google Docs and then invite my friends in, and we'll all take our notes there. And to experiment with new ideas that are made possible by the fact that you have the source of the material and the intellectual property permissions built in with a Creative Commons license. That's powerful. And $1 million. All right. So we don't just pop off and do these things. We do a lot of research, but we're not a research organization in the sense that we then turn around and write papers about it. We turn around and build products, and we try to build capabilities to scale a lot of these ideas. I need to dip below so you can see that Zoom literacy comment there. So in the last year, we've been working on a whole bunch of pilots and experiments, you know, product development at scale. We're working with Ruth Ann Robson at CUNY on interactivity inside the casebook. Now, that interactivity goes away when you dump it to PDF, and it doesn't interact when you're on reading it off of a printed version. But you know, the casebook needs to be blown up and turned into that interactive artifact, but in a way that doesn't make it brittle, like it's going to break if you have the wrong browser version, or it doesn't work on certain tablets or phones, or things like that. And so we've been experimenting with H5P in that. I've been on this hobby horse that we can turn our lessons into podcasts. And I've been working with Sam because it turns out actually, let me tell a story about that. We had a student, a blind student, contact us, and he was having trouble with his JAWS reader and the CALI lesson interface. And from emails back and forth, couldn't immediately or obviously figure out what the issue might be. So we got on. Actually, it wasn't Zoom, but it was an equivalent to Zoom, and we did several things. One is I created a recording of the lessons of a couple of lessons, into an MP3 for him to see how that would work. And I used sound effects when I was changing the page or when I was asking a question. And I would ask a question and I would pause, like for a 5 or 10-second beat, because I wanted in his mind to hear the question, pause. It's his chance to hit the pause bar if he wants, or to think of the answer. In other words, perform the retrieval exercise that might happen there, and then hear the answer and then move on. And the other thing we did was he pulled up on his screen. He doesn't use a screen because he's blind, but I was able to watch his screen with the JAWS reader playing. And of course, he's blind and very very experienced with JAWS. So he's playing the sound recording. The sound voices coming in at about 200 words a minute or something like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, But of course, he's very familiar with it. But what was amazing was after like 10, 15 minutes of that, my ear adjusted. I was able to catch and follow what was going on quite well. But the really big insight was he would come to pages in which, we have WCAG 2.2 tags, ARIA tags, and we've done, we've hired consultants who've helped us on that. So we think we've tried to get our ADA ducks in a row. But there were like really obvious simple things like columns or paragraph breaks that get lost in JAWS because it just goes from one paragraph to the next paragraph to the next paragraph. Bullet points aren't called out as bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Page transitions aren't called out as where I'm going to the next page or I'm following this branch or something like that. And so that gave me huge numbers of insights into how you might do a lesson as a podcast and where you might need to add verbal or auditory cues to make it a more intuitive and enjoyable and a better learning experience. We did some experiments with Ali Robbins, one of our law school success fellows, essentially running a lesson on the screen as a screencast and adding commentary before she would go to answer a question, sort of a director's commentary on a Blu-ray or a DVD. And it was quite compelling, and it was different than running a lesson, right? If you run a lesson, there's actual interactivity to it. If you watch it, you more are leaning back as a student, but you're not learning. You are learning when you're watching somebody else do that. And sort of my inspiration or my thinking there is sort of the phenomenon that is Twitch. I would think Twitch would be about the silliest idea in the world. I mean, why would you want to watch people play video games when you can just play the video games? But it's kind of relaxing and interesting to watch people play video games. You pick up strategy tips if it's a game you're familiar with. And they have 20 million people watching people play video games every day. That's why are there insights there for education? And that's what we want to explore. And from that idea also came that something that we want to explore, which is that, well, what if we had an interface? Again, we're talking about scale here. What if we had an interface that let the author drop video pop-ups, 30, 40, 50-second ones on any page? So if the student gets stuck, they click the video pop-up and the author is like, well, if you're having trouble with this page, I want you to consider the following, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe go deeper, sort of a learn more. If you know what we do with AAJ Author, it's like, wow, that's fascinating. So have the author say, well, I didn't have time to include this in the lesson, but let me tell a story, blah, blah, blah. and then take that idea even further and say, well, why don't we let instructors take an existing CALI lesson and put their own commentary in? So if learning CALI Author and cloning a lesson is too much effort, maybe hitting a record button, now that 10,000 faculty have all learned how to record things with Zoom, and super simple videos from that we learned about from Michael Wesch, our keynote speaker. Let instructors drop chunks of video at strategic points to emphasize particular points of the law. It's annotation, but it's lightweight with that. As a result of everybody's Zoom literacy. So all these things are the things we're noodling around with. We're tooling. We're trying to figure out what the easiest and best way to do it is. We're trying to find time that I hope to have show you some things in the coming year. We've been working on the CALI award system. I wrote that PHP system, I'm going to say over 15 years ago. It's still going strong. It's probably my most successful ever piece of software, considering that there's been over 325,000 awards in there. We want to add some features to help your registrars upload spreadsheets, let the students download a PDF of their award, stick it on LinkedIn, stick it on Twitter, go for it. And so that's in the works as well. AAJ Author is another area that we've been doing a lot of work on, and I'm coming up to my next trope just to warn you. We've had over 7 million self-represented litigants use an AAJ Author interview. Over 1,000 of different court forms or legal processes have been automated. We're still getting grants from LSC or with legal aid partners through via LSC, and that offsets funding. We provide some funding, LSC or other grants, and we're pursuing other foundations for grants. I've been working up my pitch deck. I've been giving presentations. For the most part, people are like gobsmacked at the success and the coolness of this project. But that doesn't necessarily mean that cha-ching, cha-ching, right? So it's a lot of work to get grant money, as many of you well know. We're working on improving the analytics. I don't know if you know it, but Flash died last year. Rest in peace, Flash. And the original AAJ Author, written in 2005, finally had to absolutely positively end of life. So it's been completely rewritten as a JavaScript web page, single page web app. But this is a project that we've been doing for 15 years. We're the big gorilla in the nonprofit space doing this, and it's all because law schools, support what we do, and it's also because AAJ Author is a great learning tool. Students there was a presentation today about 3 different schools that have used AAJ Author where their students did projects. It both becomes a tech competency. It also becomes plain language learning. There's just a raft of things benefits that students get from using this tool. So that leads me to wish trope number 3, and I've already seen that a lot of you put that up because I'm sort of riffing on access to justice being the thing here. Better justice, it's all about world peace, right? Oops, wait, that's supposed to be world peace. Oh man, I forgot to change that. That's supposed to say world peace, but then I did have a joke from Miss Congeniality where William Shatner asked Sandra Bullock, and she said, well, I'd like to see harsher punishment for parole violators, Stan. And world peace. I like that. All right, very good. So wrapping up. So lots of things in CALI's magic lamp, but I'm an engineer. I like to order things, so let's put this in columns, right? The lessons, the books, the awards, the podcasts, the tooling, CALI Author, QuizWrite, the ability to do lesson links or write your own, the mini course on the distance. Geez, get a spell checker, John, on education that gives faculty more capabilities. And the people. the fellowships, the authors, the editorial boards, the board, all the people we do with. And for me, that forms like a 1, 2, 3 in our magic lamp: content, code, and community. There's one thing missing though from that, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't begin with C, so I put it on its own slide, and that's staff. Now, this is staff from 2004 or 5, back when there were 5 of us. This is staff today. And I almost could. I'm choking up a little bit. Pardon me. I want to be able to say how much I appreciate working with these people. It's a joy. It's a pleasure. They've been working so hard during the pandemic, and they're so competent and so smart, and I really appreciate that. And that's another reason why I love this job. So I think they're really, the staff is CALI's real magic lamp. And without them, these things don't get produced. These things don't happen. So that's it. That's CALI's magic lamp. Oh, I spoke for 30 minutes. I took a little bit longer than I wanted to, but that's all I've got to say for that. All right. Any questions? I'm going to stop sharing. It's late on Friday, John. The last thing we want to do is prolong this, right? That's cool. You can email me at any time. Please do, jmayer@cali.org. As I like to say, comments, complaints, suggestions, ideas, absolutely send them along. All right, let's do the raffle. So I need to share my screen again very quickly. Share. And this time I'm going to not be the background. Slideshow from current slide. Oops. I gotta quickly slap through. Whoops, back. There we are. Of course, I have people I have to thank. And the number one people to thank is the speakers. I'm tempted to ask you all to, even if you've got your cameras off, is to take your mic, turn on your mic and clap for these people. Wow, that was a strange experience. But that kind of worked, I always, of course, want to thank the sponsors. They help us put on a better conference, and they're part of our community too. Very, very much so. We try to make sure that that we invite relevant sponsors. It's more than about buying a product. It's how we do the work that we do. I especially want to point out Tim Stanley and Stacy Stern, who made an extremely generous donation, which you'll find out about in the raffle in just a second. And for all of their support for the free law. Tim doesn't do this for Justia's sake. He does this for Carl Malmed's sake, and for Oye, and for the LII at Cordell, and for Michael Lister at Court Lister. So he wants to bring attention to these wonderful tools and these fellow travelers in the free law space. Let's have a raffle. So we've got these mystery boxes, these plank games, this Thanos Infinity Gauntlet, oven mitts, and these Angry Mom microwave cleaners. And due to a tremendously generous gift from Tim Stanley, a whole bunch of gift cards from $50 to $500. Now, what I'm going to do, I think I've got, see you in Chicago in 2022. That's right. That was my last slide. Let me share my screen again, and I'll show you how we're going to do this. All right, so you should all be looking at an Excel spreadsheet, and the Excel spreadsheet has 3 sheets in it. One is a list of all the attendees. Second one is a list of the raffle prizes. Wow, where is that? There it is. Here's the raffle prizes. There's 27 raffle prizes, right? Yeah, number one is the title. So 27 raffle prizes. And the third list is random numbers that I've generated using rand between 1 and 100 million. Now, when you press F9, where is F9? F9, F9, F9. I don't know if you can see that, but it's randomizing, it's recalculating, and so that recreates new random numbers. So I'm going to wait and have Scott tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right, so now I've got a list of random numbers. I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go stick it next to the attendees. And the key here is to paste as values. Transpose, formatting, paste link, formulas, values, right? So now there's a random number that's been assigned to every single person. You see that? The reason why I did between 1 and 100 million is to make it an extremely small probability that there would be a duplicate, right? And so I think I did like 400 numbers. I don't need these guys. All right. So now I'm going to scroll back up to the top and I'm going to sort this by random numbers, right? But I don't want you to see the results until I reveal them. So I'm going to stop sharing. Do a data sort. You could all imagine this in your head. What's John doing? Column E, which is where I put the random numbers. And then just in case there is one, we'll sort by your title. And smallest to largest. All right, I now know who the winners are. So I'm going to grab the first 27 of those, and I'm going to grab an extra 20. Just in case you're unable to accept the raffle prize, due to working for a state school or some other reason that sometimes happens. Now, to be clear, if you're a board member and I forgot to yank you off this list, we can't give you a prize. If you're a sponsor and I forgot to yank you off this list, you can't get a prize. And I see there's at least 3 Elmer Masters on this list. Yeah, no staff can win either. How did you get into my Excel spreadsheet? All right. So now I go over to it. Raffle prizes. I hit paste. And cool. Now I see who's going to win everything. So what I'm going to do is hide that by setting the background to, well, wait, let's blow this up just a little bit. Oops, there we go. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Now let's hide it by doing the simplest possible thing by just setting the background color to black. And now I can share my screen. This is exciting, isn't it? I know. All right, so now we're ready to do it, and I did it in front of you to adhere to all state, municipal, and county laws. If in order to have entered this raffle, you had to have registered for the conference and been a paying attendee, so to speak, or a registered attendee at the conference. And so let's start. So this should work. I should just be able to like highlight each line. And I'm not going to go through all 27. I'll do the some of the gift cards in groups so that it's a little bit faster. And then change the background color. And there we go. The winner of the first Angry Mama microwave cleaner is Sue Zago, Law Library Director at UNH. Right. Scott, you should be yelling, John, save that file right now before you lose it. All right, Control S. All right, so the winners of the first 2 Amex gift cards of $50 are Jeff Henlin, the instructional technologist at Loyola Law School, LM, yes. And Michael MacArthur at Duke Law. Woo! You can unmute and go woo if you want. I'm okay with that. All right, the winner of the first Marvel Avengers Infinity Gauntlet Silicon Oven Glove. I really want one of those. I'm gonna buy one. Allie Robbins, our law school success fellow at CUNY Law. All right, winner of the first 2 Amex gift cards, $100. Thank you, Tim. Kelani Clay, the law librarian at American, and Bob Linsat, University of Colorado. All right, the Stealth Angel Survival Everyday Carry Kit, because you had to survive. You had to work to survive this plenary. Femi Cadmus at Duke. Oh man, Duke's got 2. All right, a couple of Visa gift cards now. Winners of the 2 $150 Visa gift cards. Kurt Gruber at LMU Loyola. And Melissa Surface at Little Rock, Arkansas, University of Arkansas, Little Rock. All right, we can scroll up a little bit. The second Angry Mama microwave cleaner. Jessica says that these are like awesome. I just thought it was hilarious.
Noted.
Mark Big Cusin, educational tech person at Quinney Law School in Utah. All right, we're getting into the big bucks now. The Visa gift card, $200. The winner is Zenaida Joyner at NCCU and Shelley Hunt at Ohio Northern. Woo! All right. The Stealth Core Trainer. No, I don't. Do I have a picture? I'm not gonna try to like find the picture, but it's one of those things where you do planks on it. It's got a little screen, and you got to keep the ball. You could play little games like fly the plane through obstacles and stuff, but it's because COVID-19 means more than a disease. It's the pounds we put on. Which is not gonna, don't take that as any sort of criticism for whoever it is that shows up on this. Sean Harrington from Arizona State. All right. Now we've got a $250 Amex gift card. I'm going to do both of these at once by using the magic of the control button.
Nice.
I've highlighted both of those and I reveal the Amex gift cards. Elena Olson from Marquette and Elaine Fong from Pasadena City College. Oh, awesome. The second Marvel Avengers Infinity Gauntlet Oven Mitt goes to Patricia Copeland, law professor at Tyler Junior College. Awesome. Now we got a string of Amazon $250 gift cards, and then we get into the big bucks. And the winners of these are the following. Christina Boydston from Boydston Law Office, Ripple Wiesling from Washington College, Christina Sau from UC Irving, Stephanie Miller from West Virginia, Tom Kazkarowski. How did I do with that, Tom? From Fordham, and Jenny Rodriguez. Looks like I cut off the last part of that name. Rodriguez Fee from Southwestern Law School. All winners of the 250. Don't worry, we'll be in touch with you. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be present to win, as they say. All right, 2 $500 Amex gift cards. And the winners are Rebecca Forden, UCLA Law School. All right, Rebecca. And Jennifer Rochelle from University of Arizona. Winners of the 2 $500 Amazon gift cards. And the winners are Lynn Glickstein from Victor Valley College and Sean Esposito.
Yay.
One of our law library. So one fellow from each fellowship pulled one out of the hat here. And finally, the last thing is the Stealth Angel Mystery Survival Box. Nobody knows what's in this. It could be empty. No, it's not empty. It has who knows what it has in it. But you'll have to let us know when you receive it. And the winner of the last thing in our raffle. And let me take this a moment to explain why we do this raffle, right? I mean, when we have the in-person conference, right, we gave you like a sheet of paper and you had to go visit the vendors to get a little sticker. So it was a bribe. The raffle was a bribe to visit the vendors, or, it was an encouragement, right? It was a motivator. That's right. It was a motivator. But we have so much fun doing it that, we do it. We continue to do the raffle, even though we're entirely online. All right, the winner of this is the Michael Davis, or is that Michelle? Michelle Davis, sorry, from Kansas Legal Services. That's awesome, a legal aid person? That's fantastic. Awesome. All right, that's it. Now, I'm not gonna reveal the people who are on the wait list in case any of the people above, for one reason or another, cannot accept. But Scott will be in touch with all of these folks, and we'll
hit save. Hit save.
Oh yeah, hit save. Control. I've now.
Thanks, Scott.
And I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, hit Control Alt Delete. No.
So that's it. Next year, God willing, we'll be in Chicago at Chicago Kent College of Law, which is because our plan was for the 30th conference 2 years ago to be at Chicago Kent, because that's where we were for our first conference. So this will be 32 technically, unless you don't count the pandemic conferences. But why wouldn't we? Because I'm having so much fun. So we'll see you in Chicago next year.
You can check out my cool building when it's not on a green curtain.
That was Emily Barney. Great, folks. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much. If you want to stick around for the next few minutes, I'm going to leave the meeting open and we can sit and chat and chew the fat if you want. But